Hey guys, welcome back to you. I hope you had a good Thursday, pre-split day, July 21st. We got BBBY over here, some news on that coming in. We're gonna look at SPY, GameStop options, some TA on it. BBBY might change up what I'm seeing, or what could happen with GameStop, honestly, depending on how crazy this goes. Sub up, like up, comment down, Happy Money sticks around. We have a Twitter you can follow us on at HappyMoneyYT. As well as a Discord server, link for that is in the description. News on BBBY, someone bought in shares, or someone that already owned, I think 6% of the company, is saying they need to offer convertible notes, or I think some sort of dilution. It's a long filing, I didn't really read it, but it is sending the stock up with a pretty serious amount of volume, actually. That is a lot of volume. 4 million just snapped. So yeah, we'll see. I think GME was actually moving a little bit initially on it until it got it under control. Just a couple little candles here, but the TI on BBY looks bullish. Also, we've got green over the 9, and got a bullish MACD for a bit now. All these little indicators are popping on Webull inside bar, bullish. So we'll see. Haven't really seen the volume yet, but today is kind of changing that. I was kind of expecting this to move with GameStop on this rally, but it hasn't. So yeah, maybe it's we've seen GameStop have a big move on BBBY. Maybe that's what we're gonna see again this time. I'm not sure. It's weird. The news came out and it popped up, and then it came down and settled for a while, and now it's kind of having a continuation. So I guess it's still kind of getting out there. Just leave that up there for now. But GameStop came down today, kind of lost its momentum. Borrow fee did come down a little bit, and I mentioned it in Discord this morning. It wasn't the only thing I saw that I didn't like. There was some other stuff which we'll go over. But basically it came down to 31 from 33. That was the first thing. And then there's, of course, the 200,000 shares were missing. They go all missing. Back up to 31.8, but it still dropped a little bit. I mean, it's holding a bit of a floor. If that was the only thing that I saw, I think, today could still have been bullish. But that is the biggest drop we've seen on it for a while. I guess this 38 to 34, that was here. Yeah. So that was one thing. And then I've been kind of saying I've been expecting to kind of come down after the split. That's kind of a typical thing to do with stock splits, and the split is tomorrow. I imagined it would probably be tomorrow, and today I was like, I figured it would rip or do something, I guess, like this. I was hopeful still for a rip. It's the last day for the SLD period, but it didn't happen. So here's Tesla. It split and then it sold off, but this also is from a share offering, so it doesn't always sell off after a split, but it is somewhat common, just because people have more shares than they want of it, and they want to trim some of it. Here's another example, I think. Yeah, Amazon. So Amazon, I think one of these rallied. So Amazon also sold off. Here's the split date right here, and then it sold off for a few days. Google is one that didn't, that actually went up. So here's its split. It went up 3 days after. GME though, I think all this price action we've been seeing, I don't really contribute any of it to the split. As Tesla and those rallied up during a split. It just lined up the dates with the obligations and rolling over, whatever is causing the price action. It's not, I don't think it's just bullish from the news of the split. Could be, but I'm not seeing it. Today's loss of momentum, I did close out of a lot of positions, and basically this whole rally, we've kind of needed that big volume break to solidify it. The volume has been light. We've been grinding up. It's been sketchy and suspicious to me. Just until we get a big volume, it's not going to look like a move like this. This is big volume. This is big volume. This is even big volume. This is big volume. So we've had moves up like this one that are good, but if it's lower volume, it's not the big cycle pinch that I'm kind of holding out options for, and that sort of thing. So even this was big volume back here. It doesn't look as big because the volume back here was even higher, but That was 10 million, 20 million. So it's relative volume to the previous, whatever, however long you want to look at it. But as you see, this is pretty average for this whole last month, 2 months almost. Yeah. That was the one bad sign of this rally. Not to say it's over, but just giving you my thoughts. Another sign I saw this morning, of course, was it just didn't open the same. Did gap up a little bit, but then we had the first 5-minute candle, just big red on the downside. Volume was pretty light this morning. After it kind of did this move, I was like, okay, I think this show's over. I don't see them just leaving it at this price to consolidate for a bit, you know, like it would here or here. Or it's in this place where it needs to kind of explode. At least it has historically. Maybe GME is in a different spot altogether now. That remains to be seen, and maybe we'll see that post split. I think is a catalyst that could cause it to just trade differently. But at any rate, saw this and I want to start exiting, so I did start exiting. And then it started going quick, and I was like, all right, I need to wait. So I waited, and then actually on this bounce up to VWAP, I closed the margin. The shares I had a margin, I can't hold those if we're gonna do a huge dip down. Not to say we will, I'm not sure, but couldn't do that. Hold shares on here, close those, and then took profits. Basically on all the shares I got for swing trading that I just picked up. And then I kept, of course, all the shares I'm marinating for long term, the 600 shares. The 100 on TD, and then the 500 on E-Trade. So did that, and then closed the long calls, just long bullish stuff. I closed actually all of it. I was gonna keep some open for the next couple of weeks, but figured I could reposition. But honestly, GME's held up pretty good. So it holding up like this. I'm still expecting it to come down tomorrow, being that it's a Friday, and they like to do that, but I mean, it might not. I think today with this, it's looking like it's setting up an engulfing candle, which is bearish, but today potentially could be something like this, just a one-day kind of pullback consolidation before more ups. I mean, the daily momentum's still there. We're still trading above the 200 moving average, which is this blue line, so that's very bullish. You know, this could be like a 1-2 day just mellow consolidation pullback. The 4-hour was overbought. Or it could be something more like this. This is a little bit more what I'm expecting, where we're kind of at a peak like we were during this range, and then we come down for 4 or 5 days. And this would also line up with my theory that it's going to come down after the split for 4 or 5 days, similar to Tesla and Amazon or Google, whichever one that was. But yeah, so at any rate, yeah, I picked up some bearish put debit spreads, and basically I have exposure to the upside on those shares. If it starts rallying with a lot of volume, I can always, you know, hop back in with capital on shares, and I'm willing to do that for sure. But yeah, at this point, I feel like it'll probably come back down. These numbers are all going to be different tomorrow, but you'll see what I mean, because the chart will be the same, but it'll just be different numbers. But I see it probably coming back down, at least testing this 200 moving average, which right now is 143, 142, whatever that'll be tomorrow morning. Basically the chart will look the same. So on the hourly, it's not looking good. We've got kind of a head and shoulders setting up here. We've got this bear flag right here, and we've had these divergences happening since back here, and I started spotting it. I'm like, you know, doesn't always work on the hourlies, and it didn't. You know, we had divergences happening on that rip, or no, I'm sorry, right there. Didn't, and ignored it, and then it didn't, and it dropped down after that. And then on this rally to here, we have these divergences. So lower RSIs here. Even this one to this one's lower on that higher peak. Wasn't a big one, but it was still a divergence. And then the MACD, you have a divergence here. Higher high here than here, and then you have higher high here than here, and then this is a lower high than here. So divergence on the MACD, it's coming down, price action is going up. Momentum seems to be dead today. But all that could change. There's a lot of potential news catalysts. I mean, RC buying in, GME buying in, share buybacks, whatever. Marketplace getting released. Not sure if some of that stuff could cause after hours moves, or maybe it's just failed delivers covering and they're using that as an excuse. Hard to know, but there definitely are some news catalysts. Even BBBY, like if that for some reason goes crazy, people look more into it and are like, oh, this is actually super bullish, then maybe that'll cause GME. This is actually pretty wild. I had a $7 call that I sold for next Friday. It was so in the hole, I just wanted to cut losses on. I should have held it. That's a pretty good amount of volume. This is nice. I still have 6 calls actually for, I think, January. So I'm gonna do the poor man's cover call on that. I'll wait maybe till tomorrow if it has continuation to short some calls into that. But yeah, so GME to me, you know, I think, I think a good case scenario and most likely would be sell off the next 4 or 5 days, and even it holding up on that 200 moving average, I think would be very bullish. Maybe it could come down further, maybe 130, this range, maybe even back down and testing these, back in that bull flag. I think it's probably more likely it'll hang up higher. We'll just kind of have to wait and see. But as of now, to me, it's looking like the momentum's kind of died down. Just the volume on this rally was not, to me, wasn't very sustainable. It wasn't showing that it was one of those huge runs. It looks more like a run like this, just low volume, and also the time frames. This is kind of a mid-month rally. See, it started on the 8th, kind of ended on the 17th or so, and right now we're on the 21st. So these huge ones typically are towards the end of the month. So this one's like 21st, kind of started and ended like 29th. So maybe we still get this, and then in the last week after the split, you know, and today's just a one-day pullback, or maybe today was kind of here and we're just going to kind of melt down for a little bit. But the big indicator will be the volume. Got to start seeing some big volume with the numbers. So post split, it's going to move slower. The stock's not going to be as volatile, or theoretically it shouldn't be. I think the lack of volatility on GME, you say that lack of volatility, that's crazy. I do. I think the lack of volatility on GME is actually just from it being suppressed and manipulated. These huge days here, I think it's releasing some of the volatility that would be there if it was price action was natural and orders were hitting lit markets. But a majority of the time, I think it's being suppressed with volatility. So even though after a split, it should trade with less volatility and move slower, that still might be just as fast as this, and maybe even faster if it's legitimate and not manipulated. So something to think about. Options are going to be cheaper. Shares will be cheaper, of course, but yeah, you're going to have more of them too. So yeah, let me show you guys the plays, what we did. So realizing profits, something just me financially have to do, just where I am at. So did it on the margin shares, and I think the whole run, because remember down here I said I got margin shares. I had a video at 125. I said I bought in, said I'm an idiot, bought in margin shares here. So rallied that up and sold them the day around there. So that was like 15 grand, I think, in shares of profit. And then on this account, I don't even know, but it was 200 shares. I meant to sell my leap here, but never filled. So I still have this one marinating, and then this leap, which is good, more long exposure. Got plenty of time on that. This one I realized, I don't know. I don't know. And then on E-Trade, didn't, of course, sell anything out of here. These are my longer shares for some reason. I have them on here. But yeah, those are the ones I closed. And then the positions I opened up a 128, 134 put debit spread and a 118, 147 put debit spread. These are for next Friday. So kind of different price targets. This one needs 116, 117. That's kind of my bearish scenario. By next Friday, that'd be pretty quick. But and then this one is 127 by next Friday. So we'll see. Still have these 550s, 560 call debit spreads for January. So that's a nice little upside exposure. Market was kind of more flat today. Not a crazy rally day. That said, Tesla went nuts. So our big Tesla plays, I had 2 big debit spreads. I actually sold them out a little early this morning, but made good profits on it regardless. I'll wait for a pullback and probably jump back in because it broke all these highs. And this is kind of what we were expecting. I was looking for a price target on Tesla. Actually, I didn't really have one on Tesla. I just thought it was going to rally big with the bear market rally. But this was earnings catalyst. SPY in that bear market rally, it's, I mean, this thing is ripped from 370 to 397. So we've been talking about this bear market rally for a bit now. Took a while of consolidation in this big range, but we've broken out of it now. I think we're going to fill that 400, and I mean, we'll see what news comes out, but I see it kind of continue on, maybe to even, yeah, that 420 area. We'll see. This will be big resistance back up here at 415. But we'll see. Maybe it'll just fill that gap to 400, and that'll be that. Got about 30 minutes to close. So yeah, anyways, my bullish plays, they kind of settled down today. So here's my 6 calls on BBBY. 183 days left. So what I'm gonna do with these, there's 6 calls. They're almost in the money now. I've got 3 of them, so what I can do is sell shorter term calls. So if I sell a 6.5s for next Friday, I'm guaranteed profit. I could do that, and I could sell 3, and then I could make $117 selling those 3. And then if BBBY closes below 6.5 by next Friday, you know, I've realized that money, and I still have my long calls. So basically just covered calls with long calls. I would probably do it a little further out of the money, but I think BBY, we'll see. I'm gonna give it at least another day to see how it rolls. Got some snap calls for earnings. Chart looks good. I actually just started playing other stuff too for this bull rally. Peloton, Netflix, Norwegian Cruise Lines, all these OG ones I used to trade. So I'm thinking bull market rally still. Ones that have been sold off heavily will probably reap the most benefits on a bounce. I would have done Carnival, but Carnival just was talking about a huge share offering, so that's why it dumped. Who knows, maybe Carnival will be the better one, but that's also why even NCLH and all the other cruise lines in Sympathy dumped. But that's why I went with NCLH, because they're actually not offering shares. Netflix, it was actually a bad day to buy it, but that being said, it's still rallying. So just TA-wise on this thing, very bullish. Ton of volume here, green over the 9. All these different little green dots saying stuff. 265 on that double bottom, even giving price targets up here. So I think it might fill this gap, and it's a big gap, but 333, not sure how quick it would do it. It's getting a little hot, but and then Peloton, that one got wrecked. I mean, TA looks nice on it though. Good volume, green over the 9, bullish MACD, and this one has just come down a bunch. So with a risk on of type market, I think we could see these rally big, and I think with a bear market rally, we're going to see some more risk on, like we saw yesterday and a couple days ago. Whew, long video. See you guys on Discord. Peace out.